Hey everyone, welcome back to 996. The Howl. Utah loses 4-2 to the Seattle Kraken. As I said in a previous video, you cannot go on a 20-game point streak. There are going to be some losses down the stretch. I know they were so close to just tying Calgary and Vancouver for that last playoff spot. They were just one shot away for the majority of this game. But let's get into the game. Utah, probably the sloppiest game in a while, but credit to Seattle. I feel like this was probably the best game played by an opposition in a while as well, probably since the New Jersey Devils came into Salt Lake City a couple weeks ago. But 50 seconds into the game, Seattle makes it 1-0. A misplay between the defensive pairing of Mata and Durzi. Mata throws the puck across. It's in Durzi's skates. Seattle pounces on that turnover. Vejmelka makes the first save, but the rebound goes right to another Kraken player who has a pretty much an open net off that rebound. They don't make a mistake. They make it 1-0. Utah was struggling in this first period to just set up offensive zone pressure and just maintain possession in the offensive zone. Thankfully, that wasn't the story the whole game, but Seattle was attacking in waves and waves early in this game. Utah finds themselves on a PK. It's a big kill. You don't want to go down 2-0 early in a game on the road and the crowd getting into it, giving their home team some emotion. So it was a big kill. They don't go down 2-0. They withheld Seattle to 0 shots on goal on that PK. After they kill it off, there's a nice 2-on-1 with Doan and Krause. Doan takes the puck to the net, but he can't really get a shot off, can't get the puck around Grubauer. Then Utah goes on the power play. A lot of perimeter passing on this power play. They don't get a shot on goal. They even ice the puck on this power play. So the power play not looking good on this first attempt. And then near the end of the first period, they go back on the PK. They kill it off, but as Kevin Stenlund comes out of the box, he creates a rush chance with Nick Schmaltz. He finds Nick Schmaltz, who taps it into an open net to tie it 1-1. So Utah going into the second period tied. That's pretty good considering it wasn't their best period. They struggled a lot. They're outshot 9-6, so they're tied. It's fine. You go into the intermission and just get your game going. Just elevate your game. It was a bad period. Just move on from it. You're not down in a hole. So let's get going here. So early in the second period, 30 seconds in, they have a power play. It's much better than the first power play. There's a nice chance by Schmaltz in the slot, but it's saved. They don't score on it. And then there's a 3-on-1 with Stenlund, Carcone. Stenlund makes a nice pass to Carcone, but he's saved. Kevin Stenlund was all over it. Utah's creating momentum in this second period. They finally find their game, and they're enjoying some possession in the O-zone, and then Utah gets the go-ahead goal to make it 2-1. It's Kevin Stenlund from Marino and Carcone. I've already mentioned Stenlund so many times early in this video, which I rarely do. He's a fourth-line center, unsung hero type of player, but he was all over it. Primary assist on Schmaltz's goal. 3-on-1, nice pass to Carcone, and then he gets a goal. This was a nice passing play between Carcone, Marino, and Stenlund. Carcone enters the zone, drops it to Marino. Marino takes the puck to the side of the net, and Seattle's gravitating towards Marino, leaving Stenlund all alone in the crease area, who taps it in to make it 2-1. Utah was playing great. They found their offensive momentum. They're cutting off Seattle's speed in the neutral zone, just cutting them off, not letting Seattle have any offensive zone time in the Utah defensive end. They outshot Seattle 5-1 in the first 10 minutes of this second period. They get that goal. And then it seemed like right when it hit that 10-minute mark of the second, Seattle just turned the game around. This was a battle all game between both teams trying to maintain momentum, wrestle momentum back. That's what I mean by a pretty good game and a great game by the opposition of Seattle. Seattle hits the post right after that midway point of the second, and then the next shift, Utah hits their own post. It's a nice one-timer from Gunther, but Seattle was grabbing some momentum, and 1 minute left in this second period. Seattle just throws the puck on net from the sideboards, and it pinballs off a couple skates past Vejmelka to tie the game with 1 minute left in the period. That's a heartbreaker. Goals that are scored right at the beginning of a period and then right at the end, those hurt. And we saw Utah was a victim to both of them in this game. To start the game 50 seconds in, to end the second period, a minute left, another goal again. So they're tied 2-2. They outshot Seattle 11-6 in that second period. So Utah finally finding their game and playing well up to the standards we know and love, but they can't sustain it in the third period. 2.5 minutes in, a big save Vejmelka has to make. It's a defensive turnover in front of Vejmelka. He has to make a stretch leg save. And there was a lot of back and forth to start this third period. Both teams generating speed, creating rush chances. And there was a nice Utah chance of first line. Keller finds Cooley all alone in the slot. A great one-timer chance, but he passes it instead of shooting it. The puck goes the other way really quickly. It forces Kesselring to commit a penalty. Luckily, Utah kills off a pretty big, important PK early in the third, and then Seattle makes it 3-2 around like the 12-minute mark of the third period. This was a heartbreaker again, like just frustrating. You knew this was going to be a close game. It's tied 2-2 going into the third. It would pretty much be next goal wins. Who's going to be the hero for Utah? But it was very unfortunate to see Seattle score to make it 3-2. Right when they scored, so many emotions going through me. I'm like already looking ahead to the Sunday game against Vancouver. I'm like, you know what? Utah couldn't really stretch out a consistent game here. They're a bit sloppy on some certain goals here, but they reveal the goal and it never went in. It hit the crossbar. So it's like, okay, now we're back 2-2. But just as you're about to move on from those negative emotions and you had some positive emotions that still tied, Seattle actually scores to make it 3-2. And again, just a sloppy play by the defense. Sergachev has the puck in the corner. He's going for a routine rim around the boards to get the winger at the blue line, but he miscalculates the rim around and it hits his own net and the puck's laying dead right beside Vejmelka on the side of the net. Vejmelka goes to get it, but a Seattle player just gets it first instead of Vejmelka and does a wraparound. Pretty open net goal for that wraparound. So Seattle makes it 3-2. So those emotions coming back. But Utah, even though they had a rough start to this early third period, the first half of it, after that goal, it seemed like Utah finally was like, you know what? They had some urgency. They started to get back to their game they had the first half of the second period. And it was all started by the first line. They had this great shift where they were just buzzing around the Seattle net. There was a nice chance, Schmaltz in the slot makes a save. They had 3 shots on goal on this shift, and all shots were clean, dangerous shots. And this just created momentum for Utah. The next shift after, Carconi has the puck right at the side of the net. It's an open net, but Grubauer makes a diving glove save. The Utah broadcast never gets a chance to replay this play, but this was such an important play, and pretty much Grubauer, the Seattle goaltender, steals and prevents Utah from grabbing a point in this game. Like, this was a clear goal for Utah. Like, Carconi had time to pick the shot at the side of the net, no one really on him, and just a diving, huge desperation save by Grubauer. The puck goes the other way, a 2-on-1 for Seattle. Vejmelka stands tall to keep the game only 3-2. So great stuff by Vejmelka there. Right after that 2-on-1, Seattle has their own open net and just completely misses the net to keep the game a 1-goal game. Then Utah pulls Vejmelka. A minute 50 left. Utah has never scored with their goalie pulled all season. They have zero goals with their goalie pulled. So it continues. And Seattle gets the empty netter to make it 4-2. This empty net goal, it's an offensive zone faceoff for Utah. They win the faceoff. The puck just doesn't have the momentum from the faceoff win to go back to the point. It's sort of in this no man's land area where it's too far north for the defense to come up and grab it. So it's pretty much the winger's job to grab that puck. And it's Nick Schmaltz who should have went for that puck after the draw was won, but he goes a different direction and the puck's just lying there. Seattle takes it with their speed, and they find the empty net to make it 4-2. Utah outshot Seattle 25-22. A pretty low shooting affair in this game. Power play 0 for 2. Definitely, obviously, could have used a power play goal, but their PK 3 for 3. Great to see that PK go perfect for a game. I think it's been a while. It's been, letting in a goal here and there on the PK, not really too comfortable or confident. So this game, it's nice to gain some confidence on the PK. Face off 60%, and it's a big, important game against Vancouver Sunday night. Vancouver plays Saturday night. They have Chicago coming into their arena, so you get Vancouver on a back-to-back. You're going to lose games. You just got to just flip the page, and it's a must-win now Sunday night against Vancouver. Everyone needs to tune in into that game. And it was a sloppy game by Utah. They only had like 10 minutes in the second period and probably the last 7 minutes of the third where they dominated the game and were playing that Utah type of hockey. But just they seemed like a step or two back compared to Seattle. A lot of defensive breakdowns leading to goals. So they just got to be on their game Sunday night and forget about this game and just quickly turn it around. And Turney said in the post-game media scrum that in the playoffs, you're going to lose games and you got to go right back out there the next game and just forget about that loss. So you lose games in the playoffs. We're in the playoff stretch drive. It's a loss and there's 16 games left. So you're obviously going to lose games. It's how you respond to not playing up to your standards. So hopefully we see a more urgent Utah team Sunday night. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.